skin disorders. Now this is the last of our introductory class. This is the last of our very superficial lectures. So let's just talk very briefly about the skin. The skin is the first line of defense for the body. It protects the body against solids, liquids, gases, sunlight, microorganisms. So having an intact skin greatly enhances the health of the individual. There are 3 layers to the skin: the epidermis, the dermis, and a subcutaneous level. The epidermis is avascular. That means there are no blood vessels in that very outer layer of skin. It contains keratin, which is a protective fibrous protein layer to help keep the skin tough, to be able to withstand some of the normal things we brush up against. The epidermis contains melanin and melanocytes. That's where the skin coloring comes from. There are sensory neurons, so that we can feel when people touch or injure that very outside layer. It also contains Langerhans cells, which are sometimes called dendritic cells, and these help to activate the immune system. They capture foreign agents in a network of these cells, start to process these things, and carry them away to the lymphatic system. So even on that outermost layer, there are no blood vessels, but we have something with the immune system that's working. The dermal layer is basically a connective tissue layer. Hair and glands run through it. It contains a capillary bed that nourishes the epidermis. So the outside epidermis doesn't have the blood vessels to carry the oxygen and the nutrients to it. How does it get nourished? Through the dermal layer, which has the blood vessels. There are also sensory neurons and immune cells in this layer. Beneath it is the subcutaneous layer, which is the connective and fatty tissue layer. It's a major energy storage source, and it's also a source of insulation for the body. Okay, let's briefly talk about burns. First-degree burns only penetrate the outer layers of the epidermis, that very thin layer on the outside of the skin, and typical type of burn for this is a very mild sunburn. The outer layers of the epidermis are affected. It's very superficial. The skin will get red or pink. It's dry and it's painful, but there is no blistering usually with just this first-degree burns. The skin is still intact and can act as a water vapor and bacterial barrier. So we haven't breached that outside layer of protection to the body with a first-degree burn. And it usually heals in 3 to 10 days. When we talk about second-degree burns, there are several degrees of it. The first one is only a partial thickness burn, which means only part of that dermal layer has been burned away. Or we can talk about a full thickness second-degree burn, where the entire dermis, we've got the epidermis and all of the dermis, have been burned away. With second-degree burns, if we're talking about a partial thickness burns, it's painful, it's red, it's blistered, but the blisters are intact. Underneath the blisters, we've got that fluid collection, that weeping. It's sensitive to temperature changes, and air exposure hurts, and touch hurts. Now those blisters prevent the loss of body water, and it protects the underlying cells, so we need to keep those blisters intact and not pop them. and they usually heal in 1 to 2 weeks. When we're talking about a full thickness, second-degree burn, the hair and glands are intact. They originate in the subcutaneous level. Yes, they do move through the dermis, but they originate down in the subcutaneous layer, so they have not been permanently damaged. What may have been permanently damaged is the tactile sensors, those things that sense light touch. They might be permanently damaged by a full thickness second-degree burn. However, the pain sensors have not been damaged. So yes, they're still feeling intense pain from this. Now, color may be mottled pink, it may be red, it may be a waxy white, there may be blisters, and there may be swelling. But again, the blisters will appear flat and dry, almost like tissue paper. It may take up to a month to heal, and scar formation is common. And again, there may be some loss of sensation with a full thickness second-degree burn. Now, a third-degree burn extends, it has burned off the epidermis, the dermis is gone, it's gone down into the subcutaneous tissue, and sometimes it's so bad that it's gone farther into the muscles and even to the bone. It is full thickness, that's what we call it. It may be waxy and white. It may be red, it may be a brownish, it may be black. It appears hard and leathery. There's extensive edema. But it may not burn, might not hurt, because the nerve sensors have been destroyed. And this will require a graft to heal. The regenerative derma has been destroyed, so this is going to require a graft. Now, let's go back where I said there was no pain. There's no pain from the third-degree burns, but surrounding the third-degree burn is second and first-degree burns, and those areas do hurt.